Hey, what's up, military millionaires? The world is going crazy, and I wanted to stop and talk to you real briefly about what to do with your TSB during a market crash. Whether that's this blip in the radar or the next blip in the radar or whatever comes in, really probably every decade until you retire over the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years or however long that you have your TSP, 401k, index fund, whatever. These are my strategies for when something like what happened over the last few weeks happens and you see your account dropping. Hey, if you like these impromptu videos, please let me know down in the comments because I enjoy doing this. This is like when something comes up, something pops off, and I just want to talk to it real quick, and I just write a couple bullets down, grab the nice mic, and just talk to you guys more intimately than when I do the full camera setup. And I enjoy this. It's a little bit freer, it's a little bit more ad-lib, and it's just fun. But now let's get into the good stuff. Once you click subscribe and that little thumbs up button to tell YouTube this is a useful video, the first thing that you want to do with your TSP or 401k or whatever during a market crash is nothing. Nothing. Like that's ta-da. Look, you should have your asset allocation strategy and contribution strategy and all of these different things set up ahead of time. Now is not the time. If you are buying in the middle of all this, it's emotional. If you are selling in the middle of all this, it's emotional. And in either way, you need to recognize that there is inherent risk. Now, I will tell you, I bought some individual stocks last week, like $1,500 worth. I had a little bit of money come in that I wasn't expecting, and I just threw it in the stock market into a couple different funds that, well, not funds, individual stocks that I felt would do well once this turned around. Now, if you would like a video on that, I generally don't do individual stock stuff, but if you want that video, comment down below. If enough of you let me know, then I will do a video on what stocks I paid for, why I put my money in them, and how I justified it. But I will tell you that I made that decision with money I could afford to lose because I recognize that it is an emotionally driven decision. When the market goes down like this, it's very hard to keep your emotions out of it. So the first thing you want to do is nothing. The market just got annihilated over the last 2 weeks. I haven't logged into my TSP or my personal capital. I could not tell you what my TSP balance is right now. I don't want to know what my TSP balance is right now because if I see it, it might evoke, in fact, it probably will evoke emotion, whether I want it to or not. No matter how much I tell myself that everything's okay, don't get emotional, not a big deal. We are human beings. We are fickle creatures. When I see that my 40, 50, 60, 100,000, 200, 10,000, yeah, that's not a number, but you know what I mean. When you see how much money you did have and how much you do now, whether you acknowledge the emotional reaction or not, it's going to be there. And you don't want to make any decisions during that time. The next reason for this is that dollar cost averaging is smart and unemotional. So you want to keep doing that. Now, what dollar cost averaging means is it means that you put the same amount of money into that fund no matter what the market's doing. So as the market goes up, say you buy a share for $40 one month, then $41, then $47, then $100. If you put $100 in each month, you might have bought 2 and some change the first time, 2.5 shares, then maybe you only bought 2 1/3 shares, then 2 shares, and then it got up to $100, you only bought 1 share for $100. And you might think that you're buying less, but the reality is it's still $100 worth of stock. Whether it was 2.5 stocks or 1 stock, it's still $100 worth of stock. So you got to remember that. But then the market comes back down, and as it crosses 50, yes, your account's losing money, but now you're again buying 2 shares for $50 with that same $100. And if it comes down to 25, you're now buying 4 shares. So then when it comes back up, so what you're doing is you're averaging out the price that you were paying for this stock. If you bought the first one at 40 and the second one at 60, your average stock price for that is $50. That's more than the 40, but so dollar cost averaging is a good way to balance out your portfolio over time because historically the stock market is going to keep going up long term. If you play the game on the roller coaster, you're probably going to lose. It's very hard to outpace the market. Most people don't. In fact, I'd venture to say nobody does all the time. But even if you do outpace the market, you're going to pay more fees for transferring. You're going to pay more taxes for short-term gains when you do win. And it's just not ideal. It's not my strategy. Now, some people can do that. Some people can do that very well, but it's not my thing. I'm not going to tell you to do it. So I like dollar cost averaging. Now, the beautiful thing with this is that that's exactly what your TSP does. You guys should all be really excited because if you had 10, 15, 20% of your paycheck going into your TSP, in February, you might have only paid for, I don't know, we'll just say 3 stocks. But in March, that exact same contribution percentage probably bought you 4 or 5 stocks. Now, I'm not doing any math there. There's no numbers for this. The point is that in February, when the market was up here, you were only able to buy so many stocks. But then in March, it comes down a little bit and you bought more stocks. If it keeps going down, come April, you're going to be able to buy even more shares for the same price that you're already putting in there. So when it comes back up, it's more of a win. Now, this also boils down into buying down your average, which is the same thing. It's just a different way of saying it. So a prime example, and I'm not going to name names unless you guys want me to do a stock video. I purchased, I don't know, like $1,000. I think I paid $900 worth of stock in this one fund, and I bought it at like $19 and some change per share. Now, granted, it was like $60 last month, so I was okay, and I knew it was probably going to keep going down. And the next day, it dropped to 11. Well, maybe the next like 2 days, 3 days. So I lost money. But what did I do? I put more money into it. So I bought down my average. So now my average share price is like $16 or $17, which means that instead of paying 19 for those shares, I now only paid effectively 16 for those shares. So if it goes back up, or when it goes back up, then I will have a bigger return because I bought down the average. Now, again, this is all, it's all speculation. Now, I am not recommending that you do anything emotional, any buying, any selling at this time. Don't do anything. If you already had this plan, great. If you come into extra money, great. But don't go throwing your life savings into the stock market thinking it's going to turn around because it might still go down for a while. In fact, I would not be surprised if we see 15,000 on the Dow. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me. Now, the third thing for you to do with your TSP or 401k during a market crash, keep buying. Don't stop. So don't change your allocation. Don't change your contribution strategy. Don't stop buying and just keep dollar cost averaging. Just keep pumping money into it. Have faith. You need to take your emotion out of it. Don't second guess yourself and realize if you spent time planning your strategy leading into this, trust that what you planned was the right move. Now, pivoting, it might be a good time to pivot a little bit and change it up a little bit. But for the most part, what you decided is probably still worth keeping to. I know what my contribution goes into in my TSP, and that's what I want. Now, I know that's a little bit more high risk, and I know if I'd moved all my money to the G fund, I wouldn't have taken a hit, but I don't know when the market's going to bottom out. Since I don't know when the market's going to bottom out, I don't want to play that game. I want to leave it in the exact same spot, not try to time the market, just let it ride. That being said, if you don't understand the allocations and contribution strategies and some of that stuff, I have other TSP videos, and those will really help you out with what funds to buy and what strategies. And another great reference is just the simple path to wealth. Now, I will say, and I'm going to throw this out there, and it's just a subtle plug, if you are interested in doing the stock market thing, like the small stocks thing, and play a little bit, gamble a little bit, and that's what it is, gambling, and you want to buy some stocks individually while they're down, Robinhood, I've used a couple different apps, and Robinhood's my favorite. Webull is pretty good, but man, they spam the crap out of you, and a lot of their emails have you can't unsubscribe. I'm just not a fan of their methodology. So Robinhood is a very user-friendly app. Maybe not always the best, maybe not perfect, but you're not a day trader. It's great for what you want to do. And the cool thing is, and this is just a shameless plug, I'm going to throw a link down below. If you use it, you will get a free stock when you sign up. I will get a free stock when you sign up. Win-win, and they're all discounted right now. So I referred someone the other day, and they got Microsoft, and I was like, wow, must be nice. I wish I could get a stock like that. So pretty cool. I mean, that's going to come up in value for sure, and it's already worth a decent chunk of change. So I mean, pretty sure he got more money in his account from the free stock he got than from the $100 he deposited. I don't know what Microsoft trades at right now, but I'm sure it's over $100. Anyway, shameless plug, link will be down below. Now, the only thing that I might change about my TSP strategy going into all of this mess, right? There's only one thing that I might change, and that is my contribution amount. So if you can, increase it, or if necessary, decrease it. Not out of fear, But like if you're really struggling with some stuff and you're really taking a hit and you have to pull it back a little bit. But if you can increase it, I put an extra 2% in last month, knowing like, hey, if this goes down all the way down, then I want to be buying in as much as I can on the way down, because when it comes back up, the more that I put in at the bottom or towards the bottom, right? And as you buy on the downward bell curve, it's going to come back up. There's no saying I'm going to be able to buy it all down here at the bottom. I'm going to buy all the way down, but then I'm going to buy all the way up. But all of those shares, what they're doing, all of this bell curve, think about it. If you level everything out, they're pulling down. So you've got this thing, right, in the market, and it's pulling down to average it, right? So I don't know if that makes sense for you, but in essence, just saying the more you buy on the way down and on the way back up, the more you have lowered your average purchase price out, which just means that in the long term, as stuff compounds, you're doing better. Now, all of this to say, the biggest things you need to do with your TSP during this are trust what you had set up originally, don't get emotional, and don't try to game the market, right? Don't try to be that guy. I've seen Facebook groups that talk about, throw it in this fund, now throw it in this fund. Now, you're going to add unnecessary fees. You're going to add unnecessary stress. The TSP is meant to be a not thoughtless, don't take that the wrong way, but like a passive source. You set it, you forget it, don't worry about it. So that's my advice on what to do with your TSP during a market crash, specifically this market crash. If you have questions, comments, concerns, I would be more than happy to answer them for you. Please do not hesitate to ask, comment below, and let me know if you want to see that stock video. If you made it all the way through this, awesome. And remind me whether or not you like these impromptu videos. Have a great day.